that I am not at the Rumble, unfortunately. Trying to figure out how to get my face on here. Ah, yes. Hello. How are you guys? Good evening. I hope you guys are having a good Rumble. Obviously not to ruin the surprise, but I'm at my house. But I will be watching in spirit and supporting all the women and men, in their battle. But tonight, I wanted to get on here and introduce you to another friend. They haven't popped in yet, so let's see what's going on here. Once you're live, your stream is public. You'll find it at the top of your feed. Edit. Let's see. Let's try and get this other baby on. Let's see. Sorry, guys. We'll see. Oh boy. All right, well, it says we're on, so we'll see. Okay, well, until our friend gets here, I guess we can talk about the Rumble. It's so funny, like it says that my, there it goes. Okay, cool. So once our friend gets here, we can get started, but I'm so wanting to tell you who it is. I mean, some of you guys may know them. I don't want to disclose whether or not it's a gentleman or a female yet. You guys are going to have to wait and find out. Oh, wait, I have the screen on, so now you see his name. Okay, fine. It's a boy. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good Saturday. So far, so good. I'm kind of hoping our guest gets here soon. But obviously, no surprise for everyone joining in. I am going to be watching and supporting the show from home. And then Brandon is in the room. Happy birthday, Brandon. I got your message. Stay tantalizing. Tantalizing Tony is in the house. Hey, Tony, how's the Rumble? Let us know. Who's at the Rumble? Hello. Who's at the Rumble? Sometimes I try not to type when I'm on here because it gets kind of funky. Yes, I'm kind of sitting on my hair right now, so if you see me like really struggling, that's why. So in other news, yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the show. I know I participated in a few Rumbles. My favorite one was 2019, and I think we were talking with it wasn't Jesus, it was there's still time to go to the arena. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I know. I almost was really hesitant to come on because I didn't want to ruin the surprise, because and then I was like, well, actually, I don't work there, so I can do what I want. And then I did. So I hit live, and now here we are. But again, for everyone joining in, I am waiting on our friend. It's so fine. He's late, but I think he's late. So yeah, so I guess I can tell you a little bit about my friend since I kind of ruined the surprise here. His name is Jamin, and we actually started back in OVW together. So he's one of us. He's a worker. So it'll be interesting to share a conversation about what he thinks about wrestling, what he thinks about the Rumble, what he thinks that, where are we going from here? I'm going to put a little piece of paper there so I don't keep, moving around. And you guys are in for a treat because from now on, I will have a mirror near me so I can check my teeth for makeup and lipstick, And for everyone that has been checking out our daily blog, like I call it messy, and I kind of use that as an analogy because it just reminds me of sometimes speech is messy. So sometimes free thought, I was like, well, that's not fair. So I'll just tease it and call it messy. And then what else? Last thing. Oh, I brought you guys some flowers. So here you go. Some flowers for you. I wonder where our guest is, but I mean, I guess that's what happens when we're live, baby. All right, let's get to the chat. So my two favorite women performers are no longer with the company, and I hate it. Oh man. in the chat, who is that? If you don't mind me sharing, or you sharing, make 2024 yours. Oh, I like this. I like the screen name. It's so positive. Why aren't you getting ready for the Rumble? I know, my friends, I know. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get the call. So, I mean, that's just how the biz works, you know? Let me see where he is. Let's see. We're going to reach out to our friend. Hello? Oh, you know what it is? He doesn't have an iPhone. So let's try to email. But you guys know I can talk for years, so we're good. We'll just be patient. Hello. I'm going to send this email. All right, it's sent. Y'all hear that? It gone. I know. Okay, so in the chat, the Foxy is gonna be, oh yeah, it's gonna be missing a little bit of a party. I mean, the thing, I know I should get off of this because I'm breaking the surprise, but I'm just not there, obviously. But like I said, I'm gonna be watching it in spirit. And it was kind of like, one of those things where I was like, well, maybe if you guys are standing in line at Rumble, I can come and kind of participate with you guys. Let's pretend we're in line right now. I wish we could open up some photos, and so I could see what you guys are wearing. I like that stuff. Or hey, give it to me in the DM there, or on the, tag me line. Man, well, let's see. So let me tell you a little bit about Jamin. Would you ever get into pro wrestling training? Oh, good question. I kind of actually considered it, but I think for my skill set, I would almost have to go to training to be a trainer. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know what? Life is short, so there's always a possibility. It's funny because I actually was talking to one of our members in here. His name is Tony. But y'all, he goes by Tantalizing Tony. He has a YouTube channel, so check him out. And he actually is sponsoring me to go to WrestleCon. So for everyone is in WrestleCon, come check us out when we are there in April. However, getting back in the refreshing. Geez. Finally. Yes. So as I was saying, hopefully you guys can hear me. So I've been thinking about my match, right? And so I was talking to Tony and my buddy Ruda, and it's just about, I guess, finding an opponent. So I was like, well, maybe I mean, there's a lot of girls I wanna work. I mean, I could give you guys a list. I wanna work Brett Baker, I wanna work Red Velvet, I wanna work Jazz, I wanna work Mickey, I wanna work Melina, I wanna work all of them. We're back! Yes, we are. Yes, ma'am. Um, but yeah, I my first stop I think is OVW right now. Like that's really on my mind, and I shouldn't tell you guys those things, but I mean I'm going to because I mean I want to. So my plan is to go to OVW and like I can't, let me not say like. If I say like, you guys have to get on me. Okay. So I want to go to OVW just to kind of get my feet together, for you workers know, I just kind of want to be able to work with anyone, but I think I need to just like go get it in first. So I'm going to go take some personal time in the ring. And then I think I'm going to be ready to get on the rock and roll there. So when you were in WWE, especially at the Rumble, do they tell you the winners the day before or during the day? Oh, good question. Wouldn't you like to know? I would have to tell you I can't answer that. Actually, I don't remember. I don't remember winning. I'm just kidding. It's not no shade there, but I'm kidding. I don't really know. Izzy. Oh wait, I missed the last. Izzy Moreno. Yeah, sure. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's kind of I kind of want to make it kind of like up to you all in a sense, but not in the cheesy hokey way, like you guys pick an opponent kind of thing, like not in the cheesy hokey way. But and talking to Tantalizing Tony, and I've been starting these conversations. A mutual friend, Ruda, we kind of came up with this idea, and Tantalizing Tony is this like YouTube champion. It's pretty insane. But I was like, I want one of those. I want a title. I want a title shot, a social title. Like, for the sponsorship economics, So in this idea, we kind of thought it'd be fun. And so why not? And that way we could kind of encourage other girls to participate, especially everyone that's on the conversations here. We can all like that will be the roster. Man, I cannot believe my buddy's not here yet. Uh, y'all are so sweet. Total Divas. Let's talk about that. Let's see. Vix, you were beloved on Total Divas. Thank you. But you said you didn't enjoy your time. I think what is sometimes I try to talk about wrestling. I do. And like literally in a positive. I think in the time when we filmed Total Divas, it was great for what we were doing. And then it's even better now because, there's a lot of women that came into the sport because of that. However, watching yourself back anywhere is difficult. And then also too, just like watching, kind of myself play into certain behaviors, like, that's the part that I'm like, "Ooh." But so, yeah, I think when I say I didn't enjoy it, I'm talking from my personal opinion, but so I guess just to put some context on that, because it's kind of always interesting, like, that's kind of how I feel about starting this pod stream. You guys can use it. Call y'all's a pod stream too. I mean, I think words are for sharing. But, in starting this pod stream, I felt like it would be the perfect opportunity to kind of like chat with you guys, like interact with you guys and kind of just tell you more thoughts on what the thoughts were, And so I think just like I wonder, we should have some reality stars on here and see like what they felt their experience was. I'm actually becoming aware of the sound of my voice, and I'm hoping I'm not screaming at you guys. Oh man. Let's see, no email yet, but I mean, what do you guys want? Some elevator music? Just kidding. Let's see. I feel bad because I hope he's okay. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and tell you a little bit about my friend Jamin. And for everyone that's probably in line at the Rumble, I hope you have a good time. I hope you're having a great time today. I know there were some like social gatherings, and hopefully you guys were able to meet some good superstars, and then I don't know, just get in that arena and get pumped. I'm pretty pumped to watch I wanna see not to I don't wanna say, like, my favorite, like, Royal Rumble predictions, but, I'm definitely rooting for, like, Punk, I'm rooting for Becky, I'm rooting for Bianca, um, the ones that we know that are absolutely there, I'm rooting for, Chelsea Green and, Piper Nevins. I hope that she gets a great opportunity sometime, coming up soon, and let's see, and then all the girls that I could come back and work with. So all of those girls, all the winners, all the ones that are gonna, get Natty, Natty and I could have a battle royal in the middle of Publix. We don't even need a ring. We can just tear it up wherever we are. So that stuff, and then it'll be kind of nice because like obviously for y'all joining into our pod stream here, we've been having some cool conversations and it's really giving me a different perspective about wrestling, you know? And it's made me so excited about wrestling, and that's really nice. I mean, I'm not saying that it didn't give me like a warm, fuzzy feeling in my heart or anything, but that what it was is I was so like too close to it for a minute. I needed to take a beat, so I could kind of objectively like refresh, like buffering, just like my camera here, my internet, my live stream internet crack. It just goes out, done. So apologies for that, my friends. So yeah, let's see. What are some of the surprise interests you would like to be seeing yourself? Let's see. Oh man. Well, I want to see Roman Reigns' entrance, or he's not gonna be in the Rumble, but he's gonna be in the four. But I still love seeing like the crowd go crazy. Like, so I think I'm excited to see the reaction from the crowd, like because I kind of know the folks, so I'm gonna like, oh yeah, that's always awesome. That's awesome. It'd be great if Matt Cardona showed up. I was thinking about that earlier. Or Mickey or Melina or Lita, you know. Already one surprise entry on the ladies' side has been leaked. Oh, really? I won't say who. Is it me? Because I'm like on the thing. Yeah. I feel like if you return, you should use your own theme song and not pop up a party. Yeah, you know what? Like the entrance songs are like really important, right? Like they're definitely recognizable. They're like their own little identity. Again, you know, it's not really up to us to choose our entrance music, but yeah, I definitely think maybe something a little more hip hop or something easier to dance to would be easier instead of like I feel like I'm doing cardio, like trying to I don't even know my songs so fast. But actually Maria and I shared the song, so I should ask her what her experience was. I had heard that, but you know what? I actually have not asked. Oh, yeah. And another one in the chat mentioned a good surprise, AJ Lee. Oh, that would be epic. Yes, absolutely. Let's definitely put that on the screen. I would love to see that. Yeah, shake your tail feather. Yeah, I could go back to that. Oh, I could go super vintage. I mean, that's the other thing too. Like, I kind of just, it's funny when you're watching wrestling, you kind of feel like, oh, I'm not really done with that yet. Sasha Mercedes Monet returning would be interesting. Yeah, that would be great. Breaking News Foxy is now going in the men's. Oh, hang on. What is this one say? So wait. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yes. Breaking news, Foxy is now going in the men's rumble to challenge R Truth for the 24/7 belt again. Yes, sir, that's right. That is so funny. And it's funny because like I'm in Florida and then they're in Tampa. And, like I said, I'm not employed there, guys. This is no secret, okay? This is no secret, no shade. Everything's good, right? So my mind was still in the mind of like working there. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get on the thing. But then I was like, it was one of our times that we were available to get together, my friend here and I. But, so that's just what it is. And then I'm like, wait a minute, whatever. I'm a fan today. I got my app ready. I'm gonna be watching with y'all. So I didn't have any more thoughts about that. I don't know about Mercedes Monet, but not ruling it out. Thanks, little silver. Nice to see you, brother. Trend TNA contract apparently ended. Yeah, I heard, I mean, I didn't hear that anywhere from her, so I don't know. But, let's see what Silver says. He says the reason I don't think Trend's returning, or I don't think Trend's returning. She sees TNA wrestling is picking a lot of maybe steam again, and playing bigger arenas. If she was to return in the WWE, she'd be left in the dust too much. Trinity. I mean, sometimes that's kind of like, I guess, how it rolls. I mean, I'm not really sure. Like in my mind, I'm like, who would I work with if I were back there? I definitely would want to work with like Jade Cargills and girls that like I could maybe share some experience with, but more importantly, I think would have a good creative get at it, fix. What was your experience being scanned for the video games? I believe you're in 9 or 10 games. Um, that experience is kind of like, I'm trying to remember. I think at a point we used to go to a place called MoCap, and it was kind of the way that maybe some people have a concept of thinking like you get in the whole bodysuit and you have the sensors and stuff, and then we just kind of walk through a couple of like move sets. Me doing Germans to invisible people and stuff. And then, there's a lot of photo imagery at the same time so that you can get a full 360 image. And then I guess they just put it together. And then at this point, fast forward 20 years, now we have AI, and I have no idea what making a video game in or being in one is like. Let's see, Fox. Who would you pick in a dream rumble? Hang on, my thingies move. Can she even think of 29 opponents? Oh, good idea. 2025 Big Fantasy books for the Rumble. Yeah, good idea. Okay, let's do that. So, let's see. 2025. I mean, maybe we should watch tonight and then do a recap tomorrow. I mean, yeah, can I even think of 29 opponents? I mean, I can think of 29 dream opponents. I mean, first of all, let's talk about Oksana, guys. Like, we need to get Oksana in one of these rumbles. And so that's kind of the thing too. Like, it's kind of funny because like 30 women, well, myself included, right? Like we all there's a lot of workers out there. Like, that's still not enough spots. Can you imagine if there were any more than 30? That would cry. But 30 spots. Hmm. So yeah, I would say like Oksana, obviously most of the ones that have been announced today. I would love to get in a ring with Shelly Martinez. I think she's always been interesting, like since we've met in OVW. Definitely Lisa Marie, Victoria, Chrissy Hemme. I'm not trying to name my friends, y'all. I'm just thinking out loud. Um, let's see what else. Gail, of course. Kong, of course. ODB, of course. How is anybody taking count? I don't even know. Let's see here. I feel like I'm probably just about out of 10. Paige, correct. Yeah, Paige, Ruby Riot, or Ruby, Ruby So, Athena. Oh, I'm not sure if you got Rosa, of course. And then I would choose Alex Garcia, Vipress, Jada Stone, women that I know, Black Dahlia, women that I know that are out there getting it. Yes, that would be perfect. Oksana, Caitlin, AJ, Layla, Eve, Kong, Lita, Trish, Kelly. Correct. Home run there. Let's see. That kind of gets us up to about 20. Yeah, Tasha Steeles. Sorry, I'm like yelling at you guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, Tasha Steeles. I definitely want to. I feel like that little girl would kick my behind in. She's crazy. She looks crazy. I'd have to really get trained up for her. Woo! She's quick. Yeah, but I definitely want to work Tasha's. That's the other thing. The what is her name in TNA now? the elaborate Dana Brooks, or not, it's not that, but, I would love to see Dana again. Yeah, Jessica Havoc and Rosemary, definitely, definitely. Tasha's cool. Great, awesome, I like to hear that. Yeah, most of these girls are so cool. You know who's cool? I met Willow. I would like to see her in a Rumble one day. I mean, I know that she's at AEW, but, let's see. Oh, Thunder Rosa. Definitely like to share a ring with her. Britt Baker. Like I said, I'm not trying to name Jordan Grace, I'm not trying to name my friends, but that's the best thing about wrestling is it's universal, right? Um, let's see who else. I think I'm probably about 23. Ash by Elegance. Yes, correct. Thank you so much. Yeah, and NXT talent, correct. Yeah. There's a Lash Legend. I mean, look at that. Like it's just I mean, it's crazy how many women are actually like booked today. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Yes. Charmel. I would like to see Charmel in a rumble. That'd be so fun. Yeah, sorry, my friends. I don't know where our friend is here. He may have missed his spot. And I broke my mysterious appearance in the wrestling world, or I broke my where I'm at. I'm over here, y'all. So yeah, again for everyone just popping over. I'm obviously at my home and I'm gonna be supporting everyone from the Peacock. Check this guy out. So obviously, there's a lot of talented individuals out there, and this is from like Diva Galore. There's actually another account, but right now I don't know where my phone is, and that would probably help us get our buddy in here. But I don't want to leave you guys, but I mean, I know you guys will be okay. Ooh, hot coffee. All right, so real quick, don't you go anywhere. I'm gonna be right back. And we'll just sit her down. Hang on. She'll be your babysitter for a minute until our friend comes back. Oh yeah. BRB. Let's go see where our buddy Jamin is. Oop. Okay, how'd they do? How'd they do? Okay, yep, yep. Okay, yep. Cool. So, good job, guys. So, Jamin's here. Let's try to get this boy in here. I mean, y'all know me, so this is probably what happens when you're live and waiting. But y'all are probably in line, so that's fine. So let's see here. Mm, 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 mm. Let's get our friend in here. I'm gonna really try not to hit too many buttons, y'all. Y'all already know what happens. Production out. It would be cut. Zoom. There it goes again. All right. So hopefully shortly. I mean, y'all have a good 30 minutes before the pre-show, so it's fine. Yeah, Well, I guess I could talk about that too. I never get angry. I'm definitely not an angry person. Alicia Fox didn't get angry either. She's just sassy. I think that was my version of sassy, guys. So now I know. Hmm. I kind of feel bad I ruined my surprise not being at the Rumble, but it's okay. Well, we've got a good idea of who might make the cut if you were booking. Who? Oh, well, I guess out of everyone that we named, yeah, it's kind of a decent pool, right? But who do you think, James? What do you think, man? Like, to be honest with you, I think that my only struggle is that timing. You know what I'm saying? Like, now soon, like putting a date on it, and I just don't want to put a date there because I just already can tell what I want to do. I want to be like just make it perfect, do da 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 da. So I'm not gonna post a date or a time frame. That's kind of what I'm gonna say there. And I feel that, you know, I think that's a good thing to do because then, or I'm almost thinking I don't know if I want to post where. Send it again. Just sent the link. Sent. It's strange. It should have been now or sent for sure. So yeah, so two surprises. I don't really want to say when and I don't want to say where. But I've got my idea of where my choice of places would go, but who everybody has a choice, right? They're like, I want to go here. And it's like, that's not fair. I'm not even gonna say that. I'm not even gonna like that. Remember when Kong almost killed you? Yes, Silver, I do. Yes, I did. It's so funny. Yeah, but no, working with Kong was great. Yesterday was Sadie's Monet's birthday. I wished her a happy birthday on Instagram. Yeah, that's great, Silver. You're so nice. Yeah, so let's see. He should be coming. Yeah, so I guess he got the link. All right, so this is my buddy Jamin. He's pretty cool. Like I said, we go back to OVW. I don't understand what's going on here with this. He's saying it's not sending. Oh, good question, Tom. What were the plans for you for the first women's rumble before the injury? Well, I was gonna be eliminated, but we were, making something really cool, and that's actually where the injury came in, just kinda walking and going over that, but, yeah, I was gonna be, eliminated, but actually, like, I think I was actually on my way for a story, so it was funny because I was trying to remember this with the buddy earlier today, like, where my storyline was going, and I think, that was kind of maybe the devastating part, but I mean, just is what it is, right? It just happens like that. So you can't get too hard up on it. I mean, now I don't know what would really get me if I were back in that schedule. I don't think anything would get me hard up about nothing. I'd be like, yeah, okay. All right, let's do it. Okay, yeah, sure. All right, so I'm gonna try this again. Oh, I hope you guys were able to check some of the previous streams. Those have been really fun. We had Shannon Moore, we had DS, who creates Ring the Bell. We had Jesus yesterday. I feel like I'm missing someone. There's like 4 or 5 now. This would be the 5th already. Like, and it's always like quite just really pretty cool, like how many people are willing to just pop up on here, you know? So that's always um a good thing. I'm trying to get this boy in here. Yeah. We'll have to ask him what this is all about here. 36 minutes late. Cal Hero. Cal, that's yeah. So that was our so if this is the 5th, so yes, Cal. So he makes 4. So yes. Yes, the fanny pack kid. So funny. I know. It's so amazing. Like I wanted to share a conversation with him because he's like see there I go at like again. He's training kind of in the same journey I was. And so I kind of just want to go to OVW to relive that nostalgic feeling of being a student, being young. And then kind of I think just really in the last couple years, you know, I feel young. Oh, there he is. So this is my friend Jamin. Hang on. Oh, no, you don't want to say my
Hello. Hey, what's up? Good to see
brother.
you.
You're 37 and 51 seconds late.
Okay, so I was like, it's very strange that she's not texting me. It's already past 5. I'm refreshing my email. I go through everything. And then I go into like these promotions part of the email. So I check my spam folder. You're not in my spam folder, but you're in the promotions. I don't know. So I just thought, I'm so sorry. I
No,
apologize to anyone who was waiting. I don't think anybody was waiting for me, but other than you. But I
no, there's a lot of
apologize.
folks in here, brother.
What's up, guys?
Oh man. Yeah, I broke kayfabe, man. I was sitting here and I'm like, what? Whoa. And I'm like, no, Jamin. I'm like, whoa, y'all.
I'm
What? Whoa.
sorry. I hope you were able to keep
Fine.
me entertained for 37
Yeah,
minutes.
it's fine. These folks know me. It's fine. We just chill anyway. You know,
What's up,
they're
guys?
yeah. Everyone. Hey,
Hello,
Victoria.
everyone.
This is our friend Silver. He goes, hey, Victoria's friend. I love it. So, Jamin, how are you doing? Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here. I'm doing great. How about you? How's everything? How's life? Where do you want to go with this conversation? We can really go anywhere. So it's just chilling, right? That's what we said this was. This was just chilling. So
It's just a nest. It's just a chill vibe. It's funny because, like, I kind of like will play with the hashtags to kind of give a description of what our conversation is about when I've been
okay.
posting them. And so I'll kind of play with pod stream, live pod stream, which you can use, you know, take it. Like
Okay. Sure.
instead of like podcast, I thought it was creative. Like go
I think it's cool. I like
stream,
pod
you
stream.
know? Because then, you know, it's just like when I was telling the folks earlier, like we had talked yesterday and we caught up yesterday because of Cal mentioning you working on the video, his bio
Yeah.
optic. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow. So we can talk about that.
Sure.
Yeah. I mentioned that where we met, which was OVW.
Yes.
Talk about that. We could talk about things that you're comfortable sharing, like where you're at now, where you're going, how you got there, wherever.
Sure.
Um, let's see. And then obviously, I was sharing earlier that I'm not at the Rumble, um, but I'm going to support here from home. Yes. So we're in spirit. And last, I brought you some flowers. Welcome to the nest
What? For me?
for you.
I don't have any flowers. Hang on. Let me hang
No,
on.
no. No, you bring nothing. You bring nothing. You're the guest.
You're
It's
so
me.
sweet. Oh my goodness.
Yes, and last I should show you another part of our set
Okay.
nowadays is a mirror. I mean, this is I found it on like somewhere in the living room here, but it's a mirror because I always have lipstick on my teeth. So from now on, that will not be an issue.
There you go. It's settled.
Yes. So literally, this is a baby fresh pod stream. So welcome. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just are like our own little vibe, but we're just chatting with the folks.
Heck yeah. Well, yeah, let's talk then. So, I guess I'll tell you guys who I am. So my name is Jamin Olivencia. I was born in Buffalo, New York. I was just your average kid who wanted to be a professional wrestler when he got older. Most of my life, I was picked on and bullied. I grew up in special ed classes, and when I was born with spinal meningitis. So I had an issue with my brain where I could not retain information. And instead of putting me on medication from a very young age, my mother taught me how to meditate. And so most of my life, I had to be practiced in disciplines to allow myself to almost catch my own mind. You could tell me 2 plus 2 was 4 when I was a kid, and I wouldn't understand how to get there or why that was. Even if you explained it to me numerous times, I would always have these issues where basically information would slip from my mind. So I really credit my mom for kind of just doing the unconventional thing where most parents might go and take their kid to a doctor, get them on some type of medicine or any type of treatment. My mom just really believed in the power of meditation, and she believed in the power of the mind. So uh, I really I give her all the glory, all the credit for the person I am today. And being a kid who struggled in school, like his whole life, professional wrestling was my dream. So it's kind of crazy. So like when I was 16 years old, I was looking for places to kind of go and wrestle, and I always wanted to be at the WWE. And Ohio Valley Wrestling was I found on the internet as like the farm leagues for the WWE, and I was like, how do I get there? So I was sending them multiple tapes like when I was real young. I was a teenager, and they just said, all right, just come down here, we'll give you a tryout. Stop sending us tapes though. And I said, sure. And they go, how old are you? I said, oh, I'm 16. And they're like, oh, you can't you can't come here. So when you're of age, go do that. And so I joined a local wrestling promotion called Empire State Wrestling up in upstate New York, Buffalo, New York, and got going from there. And then I came to OVW, and that's where I met you.
Yeah.
So when we met, we had to have been what, 19, would you say?
I got to OVW at 17.
17? Really? You were 17? Okay. So yeah, okay. So it's
It's
about right. I got to OVW when I was turning 18 when I got there.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
that's
was
about right.
just right on the verge, like, I got there May 5th, '06, and I was turning 18 the 30th of June, so it was, like, the skin of my teeth.
I see. Okay. So yeah, I was 19, you were 17. How cool.
Very cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I did the whole wrestling thing, and it depends where we want to go with this. It's a long story, but long story short, I was one of the guys who I feel I was really talented, but I just slipped through the cracks because I made a couple bad political decisions along the way. And it cost me basically my entire career. And losing that experience, it was something I dreamt of my whole entire life. Basically, I was blackballed from the WWE, everyone. So to kind of, and we can go into the details if we want, but to basically
It's
get right to it, I was blackballed from this company, never could be allowed around again, and it was one of the most painful times of my life. When it happened, it was 2014. And at that point, I was at the peak of my career. I was at the peak of everything from uh, my athleticism in the ring, my ability to cut a promo. I was totally in, and losing that, I think, taught me how to slow down, and I got into personal development coaching right after it. And the reason why I got into personal development coaching was because when if you look at wrestling, you ask yourself, like, why did I get into this thing? And I think for me, I was an insecure kid and I just wanted attention in some kind of way. Uh, and I also, I think, wanted to give people a good experience because I, as a child, felt like I wasn't having a good experience, especially with people. I couldn't relate to people. It was really hard. It was difficult to make friends. So I think I was always coming from a place of trying to spread love. But I don't think I would have been able to articulate that, obviously, during my career. But after I got out and upon reflection, I see, oh, okay, I think this is who I am. I think I want to help people out. And I started going to schools and talking to kids, like high schools, about mindset and meditation, basically. And I found myself all of a sudden doing it at corporations. And then all of a sudden those people are telling other people about me. And then I became a personal development coach. And then I became an executive business coach. And now I'm in this field where I basically assist others in understanding themselves. And no matter how successful you are or what you're going through that's negative or positive, I feel like what I do ultimately is use conversation as a focusing tool to help someone fine tune their own potency. And yeah, so that's where we're at today. I've been doing my business now for 9 years, and I am proud to say that it has been a success for me. It's been a long climb. It's taken me many years, but I feel very fortunate, and I take the craft of what I do very serious.
Jamin, that is all terrific. And it's so well articulated, the journey that, like, just all of it, just so delicious, right? Like, it's just,
Oh man, like life, like I'm lucky, but so are you. We talked about your story a bit yesterday personally, and just there's some, there's something about going through the hardships of life. Call it the poop that life gives us, the shit. But it is fertilizer, and things grow from that. And no matter how hard it gets, it's always there to help you grow in some way. And I really believe when things are not going our way, I think it's important to kind of reflect on who we're being, and how we're conducting ourselves in the world, and not only conducting but communicating. How are we communicating with ourselves? How are we communicating with others? And if we take the time to reflect, I do believe we can find a lot of holes in our own game where that can use a little improvement, and that improvement alone is enough to probably change your life in ways we can never imagine. We're usually like one idea away from doing something really successful or not, and it's usually based on us just not doing it. So I'm a full believer in the power of the mind, and the power of the human spirit.
yeah, that's fantastic, Jamin. And I mean, so many things really stuck out to me that I just want to dive into. And number one, though, before I forget, is like how you said conversation is a focusing tool that you share and that you use.
Mm.
It's, I mean, there's so many things that are coming to mind, but I'm like trying to, like, choose one so I can start to focus and dive in here. Man, and then the story about, your health, and then the just all of it. It's interesting how they're so perfectly aligned with even like swerves to the road, and things. And as you were saying, like some of those adverse situations really do help refine us and like shape us.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to say real quick is we're cooking dinner is, you know, as we like met back in 2006, and then now it's 2024, like on paper, that seems like so long. But then to just listen to your story and knowing that like every part needed to come in the perfect place, the ups and the downs, it just gives me so much insight to like how to reflect professionally on like, just all things.
Yeah, and talk about reflection, right? I'm thinking to myself, I'm late to this. I'm 37 minutes late. How professional is that, huh? So
I'm teasing you. You
I was messing. I know I'm messing with you too. Yeah. Reflection is really important. You know what I did one time? This is gonna sound so freaking crazy, but I gotta say it because it was a day that, let's see, how old was I? It was probably, this had to have been like 6 years ago. 6 years ago. We'll just, I like time frames because it gives me an idea of what age I was at, what was going on. But anywho, one day I decided to record myself on my phone on the voice memo all day, just like, and I wanted to hear my interactions with how I was interacting with people so I can see aspects of myself that I'm not paying attention to. And holy smokes, it was so embarrassing. And I felt like it was like cringe. It was like, oh, this is how I talk with certain people. And this is, oh, and it's funny how I put on my mask for this person and I act like this when this thing's doing that. And you see the tapestry of what you're up to. And for anyone who's listening, I invite you to try it. You're gonna cringe, but it will also change your life probably. It changed mine because I was like, oh man, I don't want to conduct myself like this when I'm talking so and so, and it taught me a lot of how I treat others, and even though we're good people and we mean the best, sometimes we're just kind of jerks to other things because we might think they're lesser than us or this hierarchy, and it's these games we play with ourselves, and it's all it's unconscious stuff. It's not like you're trying, it's not like it's who you are, but I found aspects about myself that needed some changing, and as someone who helps people for a living, it was good for me to look into that and I would say adjust those aspects about myself so that I can be better for people. And I mean, that's the idea of what we're doing. I think that's the idea of evolution. It's like doing something better than you did before. And no matter where you are on the spectrum of life, we're always doing something better than we did before, hopefully. So yeah.
Wow, it's amazing that word tapestry. It just like bunk, like, and the way you're explaining tapestry, not like my hair here, the patterns, right? Um, but tapestry and like our patterns and stuff, and like
Yeah.
how, mm, it is a lot of courage to go introspective. I think, like when I'm kind of in myself, like especially not having the schedule I used to have, there was like a huge adjustment period. Like it was
Yeah.
like super strange because it wasn't, I wouldn't describe it as like a turbulent time because it's almost like, having a schedule like that, you dream about being home and then you're home. And the first thought for me was, oh, relief. You
Mm.
know, it was, ah. And then it kind of started to settle in,
Yeah.
and like currently, like my, just kind of like professionally, like, I mean, I've gotten some part-time jobs to keep moving, and obviously bring in an income and stuff. It's like I've done certain trainings to try and see other skills. And I'm in that point where I'm just like, I'm annoyed of waiting, but I know patience is something I haven't like really also accepted and adapted to. So I know I'm still in a learning bubble and a pattern and a tapestry of this stuff.
Mm. But you're recognizing it and you're acknowledging that. And if we want to get better, no matter where we are, we have to acknowledge it. You don't have to acknowledge it to your friends or anybody, but like you got to go behind closed doors and say, "Man, all right, come on, let's do better," or "Hang in there," or whatever the case is. And as you were telling your story, I had a thought came to mind. I wanted to ask you a quick question. When you got out, you were so used to the limelight. Was it almost embarrassing to go get a normal job, or did it feel like? Did you feel like you were lower somewhere on the spectrum of it all? Like, when you're in the WWE, you have this concept, you're a superstar. I don't know. How did you feel?
Yeah,
I'm
good
just
question.
genuinely curious.
Yeah, good question. How did it feel to be in the real world? It
Yeah.
felt good, like, literally. I think the first thought that came to mind was like, "Oh man, I hope no one recognizes me." Naturally, that's what I thought. I'm
That's
like, "Oh god," you know? But when I was working in this, it was a high-end retail resale store, which I'm just gonna say, guys, like, part of why I'm also not there is because I wasn't bringing home any money. Like, I mean, guys, this is all right. I wasn't bringing home a check. Like, I was like, "What am I doing?" You know? But you know what it taught me? Is a whole nother layer of discipline where I wanted an experience where I worked 2 hours and got 2-hour pay. That's what I wanted. I still want that.
Mm,
So, then it's like I'll get on my stream, and part of, like, what's nice here is, like, we can kind of, like, expand on conversation. It's like conversation, context, and coffee, but
yeah,
the
I
thing
like
is,
that.
it's like, um that part about getting a fair exchange for work put in, work put out, like, I've been in that tapestry, that fabric right now. That's what I'm, like, knitting my pillow with because
Mm,
I believe that if I'm so curious about it, what am I made out of? So I guess I try to really keep that in mind so I don't get my ego in the way. I don't get my pride in the way. I don't get any notoriety or anything else in my perception. I want to conceive life. Like I don't want to and I think wrestling today doesn't really I don't know if I were Alicia Fox today, that hourly exchange experience would still be right if I were a
mm,
performer. So
mhm.
in my mind, it broadens to where I'm like, okay, what else in wrestling professionally do I like? Well, I like talent relations. I like contracts. I like trademarks. I like agreements. I like
That's cool.
negotiating. I like helping people understand like these parts. So then I've kind of been like we were talking, developing my own little program and things, but that's whole. These folks kind of know what I'm talking about, but kind of not really.
Okay.
Um, but I guess what is coming to mind is like I want that experience still, but I want to experience being an entrepreneur, making something grow, watching it grow. I want that experience too. And
Yeah.
it's hard to want everything. It just doesn't it's just kind of I can't tell because wrestling's kind of a fantasy state of mind too. Because like, I'm technically employed at that time in my life. I leave my home. I don't know who I'm gonna so much as do my thing with, but, um, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
the hours in and hours out still, like, I don't know. It's just it gets kind of like I at my home, I can dream of what I'm gonna do with the storyline and everything else. So until I get there, I still am in the creating an idea. And that's where I feel I'm at.
So you're in a state of, like, visualization. You're visualizing the
I,
thing.
I'm visualizing like all parts, but then I get stuck in my mind sometimes when I'm like, but I want a fair exchange kind of experience, like 2 hours in, 2 hours out. And I don't know why. I don't know why I hard focus on that part of a job and you get check and you go home. Like I'm so that's what I'm
Well,
more.
I'm curious about that too. Do you
Yeah.
think that idea alone is preventing something, though?
It's definitely closing my perspective because I
Yeah.
get like, I don't I'm gonna make my own. And that is like from working in the retail store. Like it wasn't like that. Like I was on somebody else's scheduling hour, there was like supervisors and reports and things that were going on. And honestly, Jamin, I had so much fun just like dressing up and having like I would like make my lunch, I'd have my coffee and I would play house, like,
Yeah.
because it was so fun. I would shuffle by Mike and I'd be like, I'm a working girl now, bye. But it were like that part that I liked experiencing is I knew I worked 10 hours, I got 10 hours pay.
Yeah.
I like that. And it's like that's not that's you can't quantify a match or a plane ride or your luggage fee or your
Right,
nothing.
right.
For the last forever, my concept of a job looked like what I'm looking for, and it's like, I don't know if that was it. So I'm still, like, running that idea out of my head. That made any sense, jeez.
It makes a lot of sense, and look, this is what I'm gonna say I see in you, okay? I
Mhm.
see you if you don't mind, may I?
Of course,
Okay,
friend.
okay.
Whatever.
I think, yeah, you are in the state of, like, visualization, and I know you're doing it, but find other areas where let's see, you're maybe where you're feeling a little weakened there, and really focus on that for a day.
Oh,
Whatever
I
that thing
see.
is, like, write it down, you know what I mean? You might have a couple things, you might have 1 or 2, like, whatever, but really focus and learn that thing,
Ugh.
and allow I know, ugh.
I
You
know,
know
it's
what it
like
is? It's like, okay, you know what this is like for me? Okay, I'm thinking about it. You're talking to me about Cal's video, okay?
Yes, yes.
I'm not like this professional editor. I started doing it for my own videos like 2 years ago, kinda got the gist of it, and then somehow my creativity started taking over in other ways, and maybe that's what you saw and whatnot. But I believe when you put yourself in the process, somehow the spirit takes over. So
Oh, I
there's the
like that.
brain,
Yes,
there's
totally.
the brain, you feel me? There's the brain that's like, I don't know if I can do it. It's a little bit of ego, it's a little bit of fear, it's all the stuff, whatever,
Mhm.
whatever. Call it pride, whatever. However, the spirit, see, there's some okay, this is where courage comes into play. And courage is,
Love it.
you know
Love
what I mean? Like, okay, it's like, oh, do I have to have courage to do this? Well, yeah, you do. Because sometimes we don't have courage in the most crucial points of our lives where we're like, okay, I need to look at this, and I've been avoiding it. I heard a quote. Someone said, I don't even know where I heard it. So wherever I heard it, congratulations. It was brilliant.
it.
The
Shout out.
magic is in what you're avoiding.
I love all give it to I love all these little juicy
The
nuggets.
magic is in what you're avoiding. And I believe, and it struck me because a lot of the things I was avoiding. So let's go back to video editing real fast. We're just going to talk about me for a second. We'll look at video editing for a second. I knew nothing about it, and I couldn't tell you when you kind of get to learn a little thing, and then and then you're like, oh, I want to do a graphic though, and then you got to go to YouTube, and then you're gonna watch like a graphic, or you're gonna watch a video. I'm sorry, you're gonna watch a video or a tutorial on how to do this thing, and then you still watch it, and you're still not sure how to quite do it. So you like spend next thing you know, you spend a day like looking up tutorials, and it was a really boring day. But then the next day, you're kind of get moving on something because now you have a little bit more of something. And I think the body, or let's go back to the spirit. I think the spirit has a unique way of gathering that information, the information that you were insecure about. It has a way of gathering that information for you and giving it to you in the moment. And I believe when you look back at like a lot of like gurus or anything, they talk about the now, living in the now. And I believe it's under my belief system at this point in my time, right now, that when you're really here now and you're involved with the thing you are doing, somehow the universe, God, spirit, yourself, whatever, is giving you the ideas that are coming through you right now. As I am speaking to you, I'm assuming life is giving me this thing to just say it right now. And whatever we want to call it as, I'll say the spirit though. I think the spirit is gathering information. I also
Oh,
think like the trees outside are communicating with us, but yet we don't take the time to communicate back. And what I mean by that is like, has anybody ever like went outside and put their hand on a tree and actually wished it well? Like as if you saw a human walking down the street and you said, "Oh, hello," and they say, "Oh, hello" back, and there's reciprocation there. There's energy exchange that's happening. If we do it to a tree, have we ever thought to ourselves that maybe that tree is an ally and for us in the world now because we took the time to say hello to it, just like a human being, just like a dog, just like a cat, just like anything that's alive. I think communication and how we're communicating with life, and going back to the courage thing, going back to you, it's having the courage to just be like, all right, screw it. I'm going to do this thing for the day. And it might be like the most boring day of your life. And you might walk away with like two things. However, you're turning the dial of your experience just a hair. Well, now the experience actually changes. I think change happens when we change our perspective or the way we define things. And it's the definitions that got to go out the window. That's why we get insecure about things, because we might have still old definitions somewhere locked in are the Rolodex of our thoughts. You feel me?
I
And
feel you, Jamin. I mean, sorry to sit here and cut in a second, but I feel you.
please,
Absolutely. And it's interesting because you were talking about the definitions have to go. I've I found that in text. And like one thing, it's not about me. This hour, this right now is not about me. This is about you. So I want to be conscious about not sharing what I'm doing all day long. But I was telling you about this library that I'm trying to like develop for the people, like an
yeah.
open access library, kind of things. And like the insight that, because I feel as though I'm pretty deep, I didn't really realize how deep I was until I were like getting in a healthier pattern and tapestry, lifestyle wise, environment wise, socially, that I don't need to be the goody two shoe to help people see the facts. I don't need to go doing that,
Sure.
interjecting that stuff, all the time. And so when I think about my books and I wonder how I use conversation before or context, either professionally, like we talked earlier about your WWE experience, you and I know about my WWE experience, but there are certain conversations and missing context in that timeline. I
Yeah.
can reflect and say, however, we had Jesus, Ricardo Rodriguez.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. We talked to him yesterday, and he were talking about like in the same vein that you're talking about, like that change of state of mind. But then when you added the definition part, it was like, yes, sir, I've seen that written in text from another thinker, and
So
that's why
cool.
I think a library is the perfect symbol of another conversation. It's just a good, because it didn't have to come from me. Therefore, it doesn't have any judgment I might have placed in the experience here. It doesn't have to come from a professional like, acknowledgement or recognition or anything. That's why getting that second job was no problem because I knew I love people. I love people. I love listening to them. However, when I'm able to share a conversation just by pointing some facts in a book, I was like, hey, I think librarian is really my gig, but I don't know if you know what I'm saying? But I guess, I mean, I'm all over the place here because I was just like elated to hear you mention the way my books talk to me. Like you said, I don't know what's giving me what to say here. But yeah, on with you. Sorry, not to cut it.
No, I think it's beautiful what you're saying. And I think what you're saying is very important because we can, what we're doing right now is I think we're in a state of flow where we're just letting it come out as it feels right to us. And perhaps we're gaining new perspectives right now. Perhaps we are growing all together right now through just hearing different things. Like you look at like, I don't know, look at your cell phone. Like, okay, say you're the cell phone, okay? And the cell phone's got like all these different filters, and all these different filters make you look a certain way. Well, the reason why we use filters is because it's a different perspective. And when we're talking, it's the same thing. It's we're just going through the filters of perspectives. And so it ties back to definition, yeah, and what filter we're setting it on, and what if we want to change the contrast or whatever, and so I think it's beautiful that we could sit here and just talk openly as normal human beings and find something that's meaningful, and maybe this conversation isn't meaningful for every person, but for us it is, and in our own little corner of the world, here we are right now, and I think whatever life is presenting to you, good or bad or uncomfortable or not, that information is for your growth, even if it upsets you. everything is always like for our growth. And I don't know, I like that perspective personally because it allows me to not get caught up in the tapestry of boohooing about every little thing that goes wrong. My mom said something to me years ago, and I'll never forget it. It's like stuck with me forever. Um, she said, "Oh, this is when I was a kid. I was like complaining about doing the dishes or something, and I was like, oh, I just had a bad day," and I was just kind of like, I was like allowing that to make my day worse, and whatever else excuse I could find. And my mom was like, Jamin, what's the hardest thing about life? And I was like, I don't know, homework, things. And she's like, no, the hardest thing about life is you just didn't get what you wanted. Okay. Now, as a kid, I was like, or whatever. But as I got older, that always like stuck in my head through high school, throughout everything. Like, it's like, oh, I'm kind of complaining and I'm just really complaining because I didn't get what I wanted. And I don't know, something about just the key of that, telling myself that it just kind of unlocked like this, like, thing where I don't go down that slide and really get caught up. And what was happening is I was seeing it happening around me, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, the only reason why they're upset is because they didn't get what they wanted." and of course, there's reasons why we go through emotions and whatnot, but I think we got to have a balance somewhere, and we have to have an anchor, and that anchor has to be rooted in some type of principle that you believe in or definition. And so when we talk about definitions and things like that, I think it's kind of like writing down what your principles are and what are they really? There's like the facade we put on out there for people, and then like who are we? Who are you as a human being? Like who are you? And really kind of whether that's on paper, whether you're thinking it, whatever the process is, um, I just think all those things are important to find balance in our life. Yeah, and that all takes courage. Going back to courage,
I love it.
that's real courage, being able to find the empathy for yourself, forgiveness for others, for whatever. Like life is always changing. Like think about it. Like since you were a little kid, there's the one thing that is still you. It's been you this whole time. And then a bunch of other things were never you and you've changed. So there's many ways you've changed, but then there's that core aspect of you. I invite anyone listening to like, who's that core aspect? Like the thing that when you were a kid, like when your friend comes up to you and you're later on, you guys went to high school together, you're like, dude, you're exactly the same. That thing, what is that thing? And understand that thing and understand what that thing's principles are. And I think express yourself through that vehicle, through that aspect, because that is, the roots are so important. And a lot of people in this world, we hack at the branches too much, but we're never going for the roots, to really understand what is this thing. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's what comes to mind right now as we kind of unlock this conversation.
I love it. I love it, Jamie. Love that. And it's like, as you were talking about really focusing on that core thing, I'm thinking like, what seeds? I'm like, is it a mustard seed? Is it an acorn? Is he going to name a seed? Oh my gosh, what seed am I thinking he's thinking? I absolutely really respect and adore that what you just shared, and I like as you were talking about it, I'm like, I can try that. I can try that. And that's what I love about conversating is it's a continuous
Yeah.
thing. Like so it's like you're in a sense like feeding my insight and it's funny because as you're speaking, I'm thinking about those tasks that I don't want to look at and things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna document my journey opening the mail and hanging up clothes.
Yeah. Do it. You know, All right. I remember I met this Egyptian dude when I was 24 years old, and he told me I wasn't gonna. He read my palm, and he said, "You're not gonna make it in wrestling." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, man." And I was like, "Whatever, old man," But I also listened to him because I always valued. I was one of those kids that's like always looking for a sign because my life was so hard growing up. Like as far as making friends and all that goes, I was always like, God, give me a sign that like at least I could be a wrestler one day. Give me a sign that at least I could pass my test. Like I was always looking for signs, and this guy came in my life. He was a next door neighbor of where I live. Remember when you used to visit me at Santino's? We're all together.
What
Okay.
was that place called? Just what was the neighborhood
It was,
called?
shout out to Bardstown Forest.
Oh,
Bardstown Forest. That's the name of it. Google Bardstown Forest, Louisville.
yes.
It was a studio apartment, and yeah, it was like two of us living there, just trying to make ends meet, trying to make our dreams happen, you know. And anyway, the dude I met, his name was Bashir. He lived next door, and he saw me on the porch one day or outside the door, just sitting and you know whatever. And he's like, "Hey man, come on over, we talk." And I say, "Oh, okay, man, whatever." And I go and I hang out with this dude, and we start talking spirituality right away. We just got into this like deep talk, and he's like, "Oh, open your palm." So he reads my palm to me, and he's like, "Yeah, you're not going to make it in wrestling, but you'll make it with your mind. Like you'll do something else. You're very good at like motivating people." I'm just like, "Yeah, okay, whatever, dude." You know, and still to this day, I look at him as a mentor. He's still friends. We're still friends, and everything he said when I was 24 basically happened in my life. And the thing about that was at the time I saw it and I didn't want to see it, but I think the other reason why it maybe worked out for me too is because I considered that it could be a truth. And I think sometimes we have a way as humans just to shut down anything. Even if an idea comes our way and we don't agree, like I didn't agree with him, but I also was willing to listen. And I was willing to consider that could be a thing, even though at the time I was in so much denial. And I think in life, we have to have an open mind towards everything that life is throwing at me now. Now, not the future, not the past. Now, we're here now. What is it showing me? Okay, I can make a decision. You know, every good thing that happens to us is usually based on a decision. Every bad thing that happens to us is usually based on a decision that could have been avoided. You know, it's like it's all very simple stuff, but he told me, and now I want to get into entrepreneurship and just like what it means to build a business or maybe even to better yourself, whether that's through diet, mental, whatever. You just got to jump in. He always told me like too many people stand on the shore and they're testing the water. They're like, oh, the water's cold. No, no, no. But the ones who really, I think, end up becoming successful in life, and I've found this out through the clientele I have and the people I met. A lot of them are successful people, and what I found extraordinary about them all is they all had the same trait, that they just had the courage to dive in and figure it out, even though none of them had any idea how they were going to do it. And you know, as I was building my clientele and I'm learning from my clients and I'm seeing their mindsets. So they're coming to me for inspiration somewhere else in their life, but yet I am learning too from their stories, because some of them were very successful but the mindsets were all the same, and it all had to do with, man, you just got to dive in and figure it out. There's no like roadmap. They would all say these like similar things, and I think that gave me enough courage when I was building my business to try more things and to invest in things and to get into video editing, you know, so I can learn how to make commercials or whatever the heck I wanted to do. I think, yeah, so whether that's entrepreneurship or anything in life, we just have to dive in and then learn how to swim from there. And oftentimes it could be uncomfortable, but without discomfort, how do we grow?
Wow. Diving in. I'm just like, I'm just so listened mode. That's the thing you mentioned too, is the listening. Like if you're like usually in a disagreement about something, you can usually like shut the idea down, and therefore it kind of could change your perspective on something new. But
Yeah,
the listening as well.
yeah, man. Like, look, everything is valuable in our lives. Like, it's easy to not see that, but gosh, like, we're so lucky to be alive. Like, I don't know how to say it. Like, we all have to go through things, I guess, to see it. For me, it's like having an awesome daughter who
Mhm. Right. Yes.
who
How old is she now? Sorry.
is turning 16 next
Oh
month.
my god. That is, I remember when
She's
she
wild, man.
was 16. I'm just kidding. Negative 0, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's happened so fast. Um, man, you know, like, she's amazing, by the way.
I bet.
Shout out to my daughter Jasmine for being freaking amazing. Okay, like in the history of being a father, I've never had to yell at her. I've never had to say, oh, you shouldn't have done that. I swear to God, it sounds so silly, but like I've never had to ask her to do so. If I say, hey, can you help me with the dishes? Yeah, sure. Okay. She's like neutral. She's always in the state of Zen.
Wow.
Um, but no, I feel very lucky to have such a, I mean, she's my inspiration. She's probably the reason why I do the work I do, like I knew when I was wrestling and I had a kid cuz I had her when I was 21 and uh it was it was unexpected and it was nerve-wracking and I was just so young and I'm thinking to myself, is my career over? And you think all these things and then you see him come into the world and then where it really started to settle in as a dad is I remember she was like 2 or 3 and she starts talking to me and I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. And even as a young guy and I for the record everyone, I never got girls growing up and then like when I became a wrestler all of a sudden like women started flocking to me and that was a completely unique experience for me too because I didn't know like how to be like a cool guy or anything. I was always awkward. So in the height of like these things happening, I have a daughter, right? And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I shouldn't probably be hanging out with all these girls either. If I'm a dad with a girl, like I don't want my girl to grow up and do this. And you're having all these like mixed thoughts as you're growing through your 20s. And I remember when I was like 28 years old, I was in Australia and I think I went out on a date with some girl one night. And I remember I wasn't impressed with her or I didn't feel connected to her and I was like, I just want to get this over with. I'm just wasting my time. And I remember looking at the moon that night and just being like, I think you should just stop doing that. You have a kid, you have a daughter, like you don't want her to like get in the habit of like meeting a bunch of dudes at once or I just wasn't proud of the actions that I was doing, but yet I felt like I was doing those because the industry that I was in also kind of gave me a unique confidence that I never experienced before. So, you kind of want your hand in the cookie jar, but not. And you're testing, you're playing both ends of the spectrum. But ultimately, as a dad, I feel like she has helped shaped me into a good person. Where if I didn't have a daughter and maybe I went through the career I did, maybe things would have happened differently for me. But also maybe I would have made more idiotic decisions. Who knows? But I look at all that and I think we have to reflect on our lives and like what is it about life you enjoy? Like if someone says, "Oh, I like bubble baths." I like to ask, "Okay, why do you like a bubble bath?" "Well, I don't know, it just feels good." "No, no, no, go deeper." Like, "Why do you really like bubble baths?" "Well, okay, I mean, I guess it's the way the bubbles feel on my skin or I feel myself relaxing." And it's like getting down to those details of things of why are we doing things? Why is this, versus like this programming we've done to ourselves and we're not even aware of that. So I don't know. Yeah, having a daughter is amazing. Like I'll do
Amazing.
anything for that girl. I'm so freaking lucky to have her. Yeah.
I love it. Hey, Jasmine. I can't believe she's 16 now. I mean,
Oh, I know.
and you're right. It's like, you said that unique confidence that like our professional experience like gifted us, gave us, we, embodied. That's exactly how I could explain Alicia Fox was a unique confidence. But then we on the same conversation we're talking about courage and everything else. Like when we're talking about
Yeah.
courage, I was like climbing into the computer screen. However, like but that unique courage is just like something I can add in like describing what wrestling looked like to me. I think in a sense in my experience on unique courage, like, as you were sharing earlier, like I also had a learning disability. Like I would switch my words. So I would have a lot of just reading and comprehension,
Sure. That's
like
okay. Yeah.
and then
It's
as I developed like 5th grade, I think we started doing like oral presentation by like high school, you're doing public speaking, by
whoa.
a couple courses in college, like, just toward an AA, and then I went to wrestling, but then I met Dusty Rhodes, and I promo class, you remember, I was in tears. You remember that? You remember my first day of practice, I fainted, and then promo first day of promo class, I couldn't even talk. I was so scared, like, public speaking because of my mind think like, I really felt insecure about my speech and my comprehension, like, even reading out loud, like, I would joke myself out of even speaking. But anyway, more importantly, reflecting on my career, promo skills are important, right? So if you think
Sure.
about today and starting this stream, it's really about this stream and talking to these folks, this community of folks here that helped me start to hear my voice out loud. And I could
Cool.
watch the stream and then I could hear like how maybe in a different way of how you were like listening to what you said all day. But I think in this public sphere, in that unique experience where you have this unique sense of confidence where, oh, why can't Fox just turn on a live? Why can't Fox just do a promo? Like that self, my me self, and the little rosebud growing through concrete self,
Yeah, I love it.
I just had not got there yet. It's so interesting. Like, I don't know. I'm just like diving into everything you're saying, but I'm just like looking at my tapestry and I'm just like, wow, okay.
That's cool.
Get into it.
Yeah,
Let's get into that uncomfortable spot, that big
sure.
Reggie.
Yeah. I mean, look, life is just think about like, okay, I invite anyone right here, right now to think about like 5 days ago. Some of you may remember it, some of you may not. So it's all kind of a dream, isn't it? All we have is what we're doing now, you know? And so, yeah, if looking at the tapestry or
I
looking at finer details of things inspires us or gives us something more, like I'm like try everything. Like it's good to learn. It's good to try things, it's good to like I just think I think the whole world is like kind of made up through our imaginations a bit. It's a little deeper for me. Like I think like the only reason why you and I are talking is because we're very similar. So somehow in this like the cosmos called space, it's like a little light coming to floating by another little light. It's like two little stars hanging out. And all the people that's here just so happen to be very similar aspects of us even. And we're like them too. And so there's this cluster of stars right now that are just all kind of hanging around each other, and then maybe as the universe and the cosmos move, perhaps as we move on with our days and things, we meet other people and they represent other aspects of ourselves, and even the people that we don't like and make us feel uncomfortable, maybe those are aspects of ourselves that are pretty brutal as well, but maybe not outwardly but inwardly, and so I think everything's karma. Like everything it's you experiencing you constantly, and it's through this talk, it's through that person, it is through your mother, it is through your brother, it is through your sister, it is through your girlfriend, it's through your boyfriend, it's through your husband, your wife, blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like everything is us looking at us, and the more gentle we are in each moment with that, perhaps there's a change in the world happening. I understand this is a co-creation, like we're all in co-creation, and we all have different belief systems too, and I think that's really freaking cool, uh, because that's more perspectives to learn from. I don't see why not someone couldn't learn something from maybe the Christian faith or the Muslim or the Jewish, or I don't see why you can't learn something great from all those things, because it's all under the umbrella of life. If the information wasn't meant to be here, it wouldn't be here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's so interesting. I like because you said earlier, we're very similar. And it's like we've always been able to like talk on these layers and they all seem to
Yeah.
like string together. And it's funny because like in the time when you're like, think about 5 days ago and then think about now, and you're describing that series of time as almost like fantasy, like dreamlike ish, and then like right now. And there was something that came to mind. Oh, that's what it was. Like, okay, if I'm thinking about the now, the things that attract me outward, try to keep my mind about the 5 days ago, are things that I am now seeing I'm attached to. And I mean, there's a plethora of details there, but it was interesting in conversation to have like a thought come up and change its definition. I'm like, wait a minute. Now it's starting to make sense.
Not yeah, you just said it. I thought you said it perfectly just now. That was well said. Yeah, it's like a computer game, and you're like, "Oh, ding." You know, you got the little extra life quickly. You're like, "Oh, okay." Yeah,
Yeah,
you're like, "Oh, okay, cool." It's a
so
checkpoint
good.
in the
I love
process,
it.
whatever, you know, it's beautiful, and who knows what all this is.
It's like your positivity always. You've always been like this. It reminds me of my girlfriend Randy. And anytime like we're talking about something that's just like one of those things like, oh man, the new challenge game, right? Like this
Yeah.
doesn't give me the blues and I know whatever. She's so funny. She always goes, "Oh, ouch." Like, she's just like, just so funny, like, she's so sweet to, like, validate my feeling of this, like, whatever going on, but then she's always so comical and be like, "It's okay with that." So, ouch. But then if there's things that, she's always like, "Ooh, ouch." "You don't wanna do that. Ouch," you know? But then, she also has another part where she's like, if things are really challenging. She's like, "Oh, yes, 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 yes." Amazing. Amazing. She's always in this spirit. And it's like, I know that this woman works really hard to be good people, for her family, like you're
Yeah,
saying, to her, and the women that she surrounds herself with are so powerful and they all are so individual. They're powerful. And then when they're together, you can tell that they're good friends, and to know those individuals separately and then together, um, it's a curious thing because it's like it's just so deep. It's like so good and so deep and so much vulnerability that's just like very elegant. It's very something. And like you're right, I think the world is changing because now we're so quick to put our opinions on a social platform and publish them
yeah.
because, you know,
I mean,
control of pen and tongue and digital. I don't know.
yeah, we're, so I look at it like 2 ways, there's nothing wrong with it, and then it's like, be careful though. Don't get confused between what you're trying to put out because you want people to like you versus who you are. You could do both. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
like
we
that you
live
said do
we live in
both.
a we live in a digital age where people will most likely, take the picture of them and their family, but yet they're really not happy, but they're doing it because they want to be perceived, you know, whatever. Okay, so this is the person right now who's if someone right now is listening and they understand me a hair of like, yeah, I kind of do that. Like, you know what I mean? The quick solution is just act like how you want to see yourself and you'll be fine.
That's funny because I've heard that before, and it's like it's so just rolls right off the tongue. And it's funny because I think in our unique experience, I think we can play in this brain spot here, but it's almost like I got really accustomed to just like doing along to get along that it just didn't occur to me that no is an option for so long.
Right.
It was like when I got to use a no, I was like, and then I was like, "Ooh, yes, that feels good." And then I were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is my jam," because I mean everyone's different, but you know,
Yes.
socially, like, I think I've always been a shy girl, so I had more of, like, the rough friends, because they were just blatantly how they are, but, like, the nice girls, I was like, I don't know." But I always, like, felt as though like, other internal things going on and things, but then I got into my profession and it was like, you can just, like, get along by having good matches. You didn't really have to talk anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then there are other layers there. However, when I got off of that world and that schedule and right now in my life, I meet a lot of people that are not wrestlers. I meet a lot of people that are just normal folks everywhere. And then I want to work with a lot of people that are normal folks. And so collectively, I see my tapestry everywhere I go. So when you were sharing that part about that seed, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this must be when Randy's like, amazing. Cause I'm like, what is he talking about in my head? I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, it's cool.
I
Like,
love it.
and we're learning as we go, man. Like
Yeah.
this is life. This is life.
This is life, and I wanna give everyone, like, a preview because I'm looking here now, the pay-per-view is about to start, and I
Yeah.
know
Oh
nobody wants to be on our well, I mean,
yeah.
I'll be here, but, understand, y'all. But I wanted to show everyone real quick, and if you wanna collect any final, like, insight or thoughts or whatever, I was just gonna show the folks a couple more photos of who
Sure.
Mr. Oli Avencia is.
There he
Jake
is.
Oli Avencia, he likes the golf. And then here, I also added some of your, Instagram QR codes if you guys wanna scan the screen and dive deeper into where you can find Jamin, whether it's his inspirational speeches, follow his journey, the corporate, presentation, and who you just met today, the author himself, does his work, how he writes his own life script. I don't know. I didn't have anything in my mind with that transition. However,
Be great.
yeah, I was like, no. Like, I do want to point here. I don't know. Oh, so I do have a quiz for you. Just a quick quiz. Uh,
Okay.
this date here, February 22nd, 2018. Do you happen to know what that might be about?
February 22nd, 2018. February 22nd. I don't. I don't.
Okay. Well, it was your first Instagram post, and so I was like,
Oh my goodness,
"Hi."
really?
I think that's, like, one of the funniest things, like, because I like making these
You're
screens.
so awesome.
So, like, because thank you so much for coming on the Crow's Nest, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I just because, my friends are so dear to me that I know their information, I know what's interesting, but I were like to present them to a group of individuals because this is our community, our nest here, little pebbles and twigs. But, I also like, with Jesus, I was like, okay, time to fact check Wikipedia. And so I started making the screens a little more detailed here. So, but definitely when it comes to our guest on here, I definitely like to figure out when the first post was and put my little thank you for coming and the date. So, I mean, I think it's funny. But yeah, so 2018, guys, Jamin came to our digital space. So he's the class of 2018. Hi.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm from the class of 2018. Oh,
And
that's so cool. I like that. I really like that you did that. I think that's fun. That's cool. That's nerdy. It's nerdy. I like it. It's cool. Yeah.
totally.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mr. Olivencia. And I mean, I know your last name is always a great one. And then here I just had other accolades, such as like OVW TV, your debut 2017, before Instagram, y'all. We got his birthday, which is August 7th, 2085, which I was like, I didn't know if I don't know
Yeah,
how.
that's right. That's
Okay, I
right.
was like, well,
August 7th. That's me.
yeah, I didn't know if men feel a weird way about the age thing, but
No, I don't care. Hey, yeah, that's just hey, man. That's life. You
all
gotta
right,
do
y'all.
it.
He's on blast. He's an 85 baby, so that's perfect. And then
What's
this
up, guys?
last one, oh no. Okay, excuse my French. So you did debut OVW in 2007, which when
It's
I
oh
said,
07. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like 2017. I was like, that seems weird. But
It's a
then
couple
with
years ago.
TJ Dalton,
Yeah, I remember me and TJ.
yes, I remember TJ surfer, or
You know
he
what
was
he's doing now? Do you know what
no.
that guy's doing? That dude is he's probably richer than every wrestler we know. That dude, this kid's awesome. So TJ got out of I shouldn't tell a story like this, but he got out of wrestling and he basically opened up like a motorcycle shop just on a whim, and someone helped him out. And I don't want to tell the story because that's his business, but this dude turned something like $50,000 into like a multi-million-dollar
Wow.
company, and it was really cool because we talk about. So I'm the only reason why I'm using his story real quick is we talk about things don't work out for people sometimes. Sometimes we work so hard our whole entire lives to do that thing we wanted to do, and we just slipped through the cracks. It just didn't work
Mm.
out. And he's an example of someone where that happened, and it's just really cool to know that little fact about him, and I'm proud of him for the mindset he chose to take on after he got out of wrestling. So it just goes to show you, no matter where you are, we're gonna get knocked down pretty hard. But yeah, that guy was an example, and so yeah, TJ was my partner. It's so cool.
Yeah, it was so funny. I was like, "Oh my god, TJ Dalton, yay." And then it just all the things, like, just having you here talking about OVW, talking about all the inspirational things that you're doing for this people, and then the ones that you were shared here in the nest. Like, I definitely hope you come back, obviously. I wanna
Yeah,
hear
when do you want to do it? You tell me, and I'd
time
love.
you if you wanna make a weekly thing, you call me and this I'll set it up because, like, this little, like, vibe here is gonna be ongoing 'cause, um, there's just so many ideas I have yet to explore, but the more I get creative, like, in this space, in the nows, bringing my friends into conversations now, like, the more I'm able to, like, really, like, live some of these things. They're not I feel these things, these living things. Like, I don't need to go and get I don't know, go shopping I don't even know. I could talk about me forever, but this is not about me. This is about Mr. Ole Avencia. So, there's
Well, let me
that.
comment on what you just said. What's happening in you is you're becoming rich inside, not rich
Mm.
outside. And sometimes we search for richness outside, but it has to come from the inside.
Oh, yeah. I'm still balancing that previous lifestyle with my current lifestyle, and like you said earlier,
Yeah.
like, why not it's both? Because it is
Yeah.
both. I think that's where my blinds are open today, is, like, rather than choosing just one dynamic perspective, it can be many dynamic perspectives
Cool.
because there's others and others in the room with us and in their nows. It's so fantastic. I just really, Mr. Ole Avencia, I just really always enjoy talking with you. And it's been a gap, but Cal, I mean, look at that.
Cal
It's
Hero, man. That kid,
Cal.
love the kid. I hope a lot of your listeners had a chance to get to know him with you on your and I mean, this kid, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it, but he's going to do it in a big way in his life. Uh and if it's not through the vehicle of professional wrestling, it will be through the vehicle of something. That kid is a very unique person. I've had the pleasure to get to know him over the past several weeks, actually several months, and it's been a joy. And I feel very pulled to his career and what he's doing, and yeah, so it's very interesting. In some ways, he even revived maybe an aspect of myself that was trying to shut off professional wrestling, but maybe I have a different open mind now because of him. And there's just something very genuine about him, and there's an innocence there. And I think the business is rapidly changing over time with all light of everything coming out these days in wrestling. So I think as the business continues to change and evolve, I think it is going to get better. And I think that because I see him, and there's something about him that I see a future for him that is very bright, and he's a positive force for sure. I don't even think he knows it yet.
He doesn't know it yet. It's
He
funny because
doesn't
as
know it.
you mentioned, getting to know him in the last couple weeks, it's like as much as for some reason I was thinking you've known him a long time, like as long as Dave Hero. And I've known Dave since
Dave's
meeting
awesome.
Cal. And then Cal, and then it's just this is nest, it's this amazing. Um, but yeah, Mr. Ole Avencia. If there's anything else, this is Jamin. We love him. We appreciate it. I don't want to take any more of your time. There he is.
You bask in my glory, everyone, please.
And even if you want, like, I know you're going to Singapore to like continue your, like, I mean, Jamin has more to the story, so we're definitely gonna have to figure
We
out
should
when we.
just continue the conversation. We should talk about maybe doing it weekly.
Yeah,
If
that's
your
what I'm
listeners want to hear
thinking.
my voice ramble again, and because there's so much to unpack, and yeah, maybe we can maybe some of the people that or some of your listeners can maybe come up with questions, or I don't know what you guys
We can
do,
make
but
graphs, we can do all types of things. I can show you how to make all these screens. But yeah, let's definitely pick a day. Let's definitely pick a day and we can have like a. I know you're going to work in March, you said, or May.
well,
So maybe
so I work every day of my life. So I'm one of those guys that there's a day I don't work. So even when I'm in Singapore, though, I'll still have time.
okay.
I'll just be opposite time of you. So
And we
uh,
have international listeners, so we can always like.
well, you do your things at night anyway. So look at it this way. So 7 a.m. over there is 7 p.m. for you.
Okay,
We
okay,
can make it
yeah.
always work.
So complete time, perfect. So then
Yeah.
we can just like meet in the center core of
Yeah.
this.
Zen.
And then, so you guys heard it here. Jamin and I are gonna get together and I guess make a little campaign curriculum or something, and then
Yeah,
we can.
we might as well do something
Yeah,
that is uh I think adding value. I think, why do we do this? I think it's because we want to add value somewhere. And I know that's why you want to do it, but like me too. Like if we're talking or if we're sharing conversation or whatever it is we do in life, I think let's like add some value. So yeah,
yes. Let's
let's
add some more context and
yeah, let's
conversation.
give value and value be received and it's a beautiful world.
It's a beautiful world. And so you guys heard it here. This has been a lovely conversation, Jamin. It's always a pleasure. And then I guess you let me know the date and then we will
Sure.
get onto that like literally tomorrow if you say
We'll
Sunday.
text. Yeah, we'll text. We were in touch again. I have your number again. It's crazy. Uh quick
Thank you.
little side note. I tried contacting her, guys, like I don't know, a long time ago, I guess now. Maybe a few years ago or something, but she came up in my head. I had her old number in my phone. I tried it, but nothing, man.
Oh,
Nothing.
that's crazy.
Is it
Yeah.
the
I
same
don't.
number? Same exact number?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
I don't know, but I think I've had my number since high school, but
Okay.
maybe not. I
Okay.
don't really know, but we have each other's number now.
It's
So
so such a rib. That's so funny.
what
Anyway, give me the number you're calling is no longer in service or something.
yeah.
So okay,
Hi, David Olivencia. Yeah,
that's cool. Cool. Thank
cool.
you, Victoria.
You
Thank you. You're
too.
amazing.
You're amazing, and I always tell these people, all these folks, we don't really have an end to the thing. I just usually go ahead and throw this little video on, and then I'm like, "All right, I guess that's it, y'all. We gone. Bye."
Bye.